World Series of Warzone Open Qualifier was this weekend, and me and the boys were trying to compete for $1 million. Now, this is just the very beginning, but we started off on a hot streak. We were in the top 100, looking at number 70 on the leaderboard. We were feeling really good, and as day one ended, we thought we had everything figured out. But then, as day two entered and day three came along, we started running into hacker after hacker after hacker after hacker. Now, unfortunately for me and the boys, we were not able to qualify for the next round. Our chance at $1 million were cut short due to these hackers. I mean, it was so bad. Now, obviously, I know it's very early stages. This is open qualifiers. It's public lobbies. This is a TKR, and it just gets harder from here. Going into scrims, going into custom lobbies, it's only gonna get harder for everybody involved. I'm not here to make any excuses and saying that hackers weren't the only reason why, but it was very hard to ignore the fact of what was going on around me during the time of my experience with WSOW. And the hackers being so prevalent in the game today, especially with it being public lobbies, and there not being much you could do with these hackers, whether you're trying to avoid them, you just cut your losses and get into the next lobby. It was bad. But I know I wasn't the only one. So I'm going to show you guys a couple of clips from WSOW and everybody else's experience and what they had to share. So these first couple of clips are from a German streamer playing an EMEA, and these clips are just blatant 4K. I thought an interesting added here at the end of his tweet was, but if you talk to admin, he's saying report him in game. As if reporting him in game is really going to do anything in the moment. It's going to save your points. It's going to give you a better chance. It's not going to do anything, unfortunately. I don't think this is a reflection on FACEIT. I just think it's a reflection on Activision, how they've always handled cheaters and hackers. There's not much anybody can really do besides hoping that the anti-cheat does its job. Moving over to another clip is Arium Gaming. He dies to a level 36 cheater named Symphony, blatantly aimbotting, and you just can't help but feel sorry for the guy who's just trying to have a good time and compete with his buddies.
Dude, what? I'm so, dude, how'd you get stuck in the doorway? I wasn't even there. Symphony. Oh, it's a cheater.
Another competitor and friend of mine, HPOT, is actually accusing somebody of running with a Warzone hacker, and you could tell the frustration, the anger that this causes when you just keep running into hacker after hacker.
That's fucking rage hacking, bro! Like, come on, man!
These next couple clips are from FaZe Flanked, showing very blatant 4K cheating. I mean, it does not get more obvious than that. I don't think I need to say anything else. The video speaks for itself.
You just... I mean, Does he have an advance or no?
No.
How about this hop in the whip and slide, bro? Oh no, they're on our ass. We got... He knows exactly where you are. He knows exactly where you are.
Oh, he's hacking his ass off.
Go ahead, pull that shit, man. Yo, I just watched him. He was just watching you the whole time.
Another clip is from Tiger Diesel. He's actually spectating a hacker, which I was unable to do because if we did run into a hacker, it was get out of there, cut your losses, and you hope you don't catch him in the next lobby.
Not even hiding it, like.
Look at it, look at it, look at it.
He knows where he is. That's crazy.
Clip it, clip it!
These last couple clips are from Unrational. Now, these cheaters are just taunting you at this point. They're having the names of no qual for you or no WSOW for you. Basically just laughing in your face, ruining your time, ruining your chances of trying to qualify and get $1 million. And these guys must not have anything better to do than to ruin your time in WSOW.
Oh my god.
Yep.
Help me out!
Fun. Back up there.
So the hacking situation is really bad, and the evidence is right here for yourself. This was only a minute stuff that I could find just off my brief surfing on Twitter, on X. If you really want to see a lot more, there's a Discord for WSOW that you can join. You can see all the evidence that people are placing in there. And Repulse did a thorough search of people as well, and having people send in evidence for him so they could go over and review it themselves, so then that they could go to support and maybe take care of these people themselves. What's unfortunate about this whole situation is that we even have to go to that point of people in the community actually trying to do their part to make sure that this game is done right and making sure that there's competitive integrity in this scene. But with all that being said, I just want to congratulate the 100 teams that did make it. I know how hard it is. Good luck to you guys the rest of the way. It just gets harder from here. Make sure you guys are running in your scrims, doing your VOD review, and all that good stuff. Now, I know that we were just touching on competitive integrity and support in the game. There were a couple things that were a little eye-catching to me. First and foremost was Royalized team. For some reason, they were taken off the NA leaderboards when they were 30th, with the only explanation of being that they weren't in their area of competition, meaning that somebody there wasn't from NA. I don't know why they would do that, or anybody would put themselves susceptible of not being able to compete just because they weren't in that region. I'm sure Royalize, and I think his teammate was Clutch Bulk, are smart enough to understand that they might get caught in that situation. It wouldn't be a good idea. There are plenty of good players that I'm sure that they could have picked up. I doubt that they would have to go pick up somebody who wasn't in their region. It's interesting to just kind of think about, though, of the support that's put here, right? And these messages that you see, it doesn't really seem to be a whole lot of fairness here. I don't know exactly what was going on. The lack of professionalism and clarity is rather dumbfounding. I don't know why you would the need to do this to anybody or any team. Now, something I find that's very laughable is Slacken, somebody who qualified at number 28, who I believe has yet to be taken off the leaderboard, has actually come out in a cheating Discord promoting his cheats, is what it seems like. He is saying, come get the best cheat market in the game, and flexing the fact that they had the #1 placement throughout the whole entire weekend. Now, as you can see down low, you can see his placement and his stats. And actually, funny enough, in my second clip at the very beginning, I don't know if you guys noticed, I died to one of his teammates, Maximus. And just in case you missed it, let's run it back one more time.
Careful.
Oh my god, bruh.
I'll be back on this. Let him win his gear.
Nah, I think these guys are weird, bro. Another thing that I found incredibly interesting was _ChaseA1 said cheaters are creating WSOW lobbies with genuine AI and farming them. We popped up on an advance after this with 140 people and only 5 showed up. This is actually kind of crazy. I don't know how true it is. I don't know if it's clickbaiting or farming for engagement, but this was actually super crazy if it is true. I would love to, for anybody who had seen this or knows more about it, to comment down below, because I would love to see more about this one. Another thing that I thought was kind of funny and just a little sad as well is that in the calling cards right here, you can see that for the World Series of Warzone, they actually used the same asset that they did for another calling card earlier in the year. It just kind of shows me how much effort and attention that Activision or Call of Duty or Treyarch or whoever's running the show is putting into this whole thing. You know, if they're not putting too much effort into it and they don't put too much care in the background and the support, is ultimately what you're going to kind of get in the end result. It is something that I think is a symbol of how the whole event kind of turned out to be. Last but not least, but I have a tweet from Repulse saying this is probably the worst we've ever had for quals. The amount of cheaters teaming we saw was insane. Next year, I really hope we reevaluate and do custom quals with the mandatory streams and face cams. Comp scene is never going to grow unless these types of changes. And that is ultimately what pushed me to kind of make a video like this. Yes, I didn't qual. Yes, I may have lost my chance out for $1 million. Ultimately, I'm not all that upset about that. One thing that does kind of break my heart is the lack of competitive integrity and the ultimate support that we're getting in the background from Call of Duty. I don't know exactly what they're expecting from this esport. If they really want it to grow, they should definitely start thinking about making changes, and not even just in the competitive sense. For starters, it would just be great to see a good change in Ricochet coming up soon here in the next couple of years. I do not know how much more this game can take along the road if they wanted to survive just in general and not just in an esport fashion. Now, going over to the esport side of things, I think that Repulse hit it right on the button right there. I think we need to see more custom quals. We need to step away from the publics. It's just, if you're not going to fix your anti-cheat, at least move it over to where in the custom quals they have to show identification who they are, and maybe even start banning people for a higher period of time, especially if you're doing it on a Faceit app. Ban them from Faceit for multiple years. There has to be some kind of punishment or repercussion to keep them from doing that again, especially if they have a phone number and their identification tied along with their account. And it will deter people just doing it for fun, trying to ruin people's game, trying to ruin people for the amusement of it all. I think that it should be taken a little bit more seriously, and the fact that a lot of people put in their time, their money, and just their energy overall into this sport. I think that the competitors who do that deserve a whole lot more than they're being given right now. But all you can do is give your constructive criticism, give it to Activision, and hopefully they'll change things in a couple years. Obviously, that's not going to be the fact for the rest of this year going. It'll definitely be interesting to see down the road if a couple cheaters snuck in. I know we had a couple major ones like WSOW. They were able to sneak in all the way through the open quals into these customs. But that's about it with my experience with WSOW. I know it didn't end up how I wanted, but I'll definitely be competing down the road. I appreciate everybody who made it to the end of the video, guys. If you guys wouldn't mind leaving a like, subscribe, and keep those post notifications on so you don't miss any more videos like this one. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.